was sort of, apart from selling consultancy, when I went to teach part-time, I was almost appalled that the whole focus of so-called even marketing was very academic. And then I realized why, because as a country, we have been very proud of Oxford and Cambridge and all that. And even 50 years ago, it was only proper degrees which were sort of rated. Then, even BTEC was introduced, or NVQs, the scenes sort of being lowered down, a bit snobbish about anything which was more practical, and sales is actually, as I said, cold-faced, so which was not academic. And what I found is that, I started teaching only about 5 years or 7 years ago, and so-called BTEC, which was almost invented to bridge that gap, has been, over the years, again, because of our inner tendency to be a bit snobbish about academics or degrees, we have actually academized even the BTEC. So when I was teaching even, say, level 7 leadership and management, sometimes they had competency-based and knowledge-based 2 streams, but even the competency-based was not really practical. It was a theoretical essay about how you hypothetically do it somewhere. It's not really training. So because we tend to always gravitate towards marketing, which is desk-type, desk-oriented job, because the decision makers are still, they're all desk-bound themselves. So they only think of their world through their prism. So that's their natural tendency. So we got to break that.
Thank you.
I'll tell you a bit of the history that we've been experiencing over the last sort of 5 or 6 years that we've been seeking to get sales into schools and colleges. And it has been such hard work on getting people from, take for example, the job centre. I'm going to deal with the public sector first and then I'll talk to you about the private sector. We have been around job centre after job centre. We've spoke to numerous senior people in the job centres. I understand it's a school back colleges, but understand what I'm saying here, because there are a lot of dropouts from schools and so on. And it has been such hard work getting the workers in that sector to recognise that there are so many equitable jobs that young people can perform and excel in. We've had promise after promise, and it ends up where we end up having to go outside the job centre or outside schools and colleges and universities to have to recruit. We go in, we speak to teachers, we speak to lecturers, time after time after time again, and if it suits their agenda, like they have an entrepreneurial week or something along those lines, they'll allow us to come in, but then it fizzles out. No matter how many jobs you offer them, we have a program called Street Markets to Stock Markets. And time again, we promote, we emphasise, we really sit down and show how much hard work we do, because when we work with a candidate, whether they come out of school, college or university, we don't just leave them there. We have a fantastic program called the Sales Mastery Graduate Pathway. It's actually an elite program. And you'll see some of the evidence of that later on with the achievers. And what we have found is they will undermine every single step of the way of the work that you do. So if you really want to get into schools and colleges, what we've found, you have to go direct to the individuals themselves, or more importantly, you have to go into the communities on the estates, and we've pounded estate after estate, and it's painful because you know, I mean, you take the City of London, the money's in the City of London. If you look around the City of London, there is so much poverty, but yet still the money's here. Now, a lot of these youngsters, they're selling illicit products that can be transferable skills into legitimate programs. Now, it's not that the demand's not there for good sales talent, because it is, but it's not being promoted effectively. And so, for me, why is it not being promoted in schools and colleges? Because your teachers, most of them, and if any of you are in there tonight, I'm not going to apologise, right? You're failed. You don't understand selling. Right? I'm not knocking you in the perspective, from the angle of, I'm not putting you down, but you need to understand selling is a very, very unique area for young people to get into. And it brings out a level of talent. It covers so many different agendas. There is a beauty, it's an art. And until you start to recognise, or the society starts to recognise sales as an art, we're not going to get anywhere. So I ask every single one of you in the room today, I want you to lobby, and I really want you to really press and ask, why is it not in schools and colleges? Because people who get into the industry and get seriously, they become very successful. The testimony is there.
Thank you. Our second question is, why is inspiring and empowering young people into sales important for the future of the UK economy?
So just to add on to what Vonley's saying, I mean, at the end of the day, we all know Brexit is coming, yeah? So there's going to be numerous trade agreements that's happening across the world, you know, countries trading with countries